What's going on, everyone? Welcome back, Zinger Nation, to another episode of the Biotech Buzz, your favorite show for all things biotech stocks, folks. That is what we're doing today. And we have, of course, our host, the Biotech Queen, Vivi herself. Vivi, what's going on?
Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Everyone, how are you doing? Indeed, I don't see any comments yet, so make sure to drop some comments. We will be taking your questions for biotech tickers later on. Maybe not even some biotech tickers. We'll see.
Today I want to talk to you guys about a recent purchase I did, and which I think that it's really the risk, because there's already an approved drug. For not approved drug, the stock is they have a commercialized drug, and I've been eyeing this company since like $11-12, and right now it's only like 5 something. So if you can pull that up to start, Kala, Kala.
All right, let's get that on the screen.
Okay, so if you get in today, you're gonna get for less than I purchased for. I purchased for $5.35. So here's the scoop on this company. So this company had so I talked to a friend of mine that is an eye doctor, right, just to get his feedback. And usually I do that. Like when I see a drug that is, it's perhaps it's for heart disease, I'll talk to my cardiologist about it, or in this case it was an eye doctor. So they had an approval for Izuvus in last October. And Izuvus will become the first short-term acute treatment for dry eye. And it's just like over 50 million Americans suffer from dry eye. And there's 3 approved medications. None of them have a short-term, relief. So, for example, Xiidra, Xiidra, it's from Novartis. They are usually the first line of a treatment, and Restasis, but it takes 4 to 8 weeks to see an improvement. And improvement most often is not as great, and a vast majority of the patients stop taking because those expensive drops within a year of starting. So though it's a chronic, strong dry eye discomfort, usually comes in flare of a week to a month. So this will be a perfect opportunity to use Izuvus because it comes and goes. So, and here's what I'm thinking. Like I may put some notes here. The reason he sees a future paradigm of a treatment in his practice is that patients on Izuvus, it needs lubricant 4 to 8 times a day, and omega-3 for 2 weeks, he was saying. So at 2 weeks, if your patient is comfortable, Izuvus continues to rest with the protocol. And what he was telling me is that Novartis, they see this company being acquired by Novartis because Novartis owns Xiidra, and Xiidra is not doing well. And what do we think it is that the reason Kala is not doing so well is because they launch and COVID in the midst of a COVID. So that's why they believe that this is going to be $1 billion company. And they also believe that Novartis would have probably purchased Kala and then use Xiidra as a second line and use Izuvus as a first line. So I bought shares. Analysts primarily sees this drug being between 500 and 700 million. I feel like there's huge upside potential, and it's the risk. Like I was telling you guys, I don't like to buy companies that don't have a product coming or a product already approved. So a lot of people also asking me, like, how do you find these companies? A lot of times I will follow Perceptive Advisors. I will follow Sarisa Capitals and Baker Brothers, even though they screw me with Ardelyx, because I wanted to see how much they own at these companies and for how long. And from their list, I can kind of do my own, LED to find out a potential multi-bagger. So that's usually how I do my analysis, or I'll go, obviously I go to Biopharm Catalyst to find what the next PDUFA is, which leads me to the next one, our ADX. Rohan, if you can put there.
Is it ARDX, you mean?
ARDX, yes. So
Okay.
ARDX, 85% institutional owned, so that's huge, right? That's another thing that says a lot about a drug, the company. So we had a huge spike today at 770. I think it was just day traders trading, the momentum. But the PDUFA is supposed to be July 29th, and I am 100% positive that it's going to get approved. We have 85% of the institution backing that out. And also, we have a sales force already ready to go. So I bought some on my other account for $750. So that's $670. That's kind of a steal, in my opinion. And I predict upon approval, this is going to be like a $13 to $14 a share. So we have like at least a 40% increase here in share value once this gets approved. So obviously, I am going to full disclaimer, hold through PDUFA at your own risk. But as much as I was confident with the BCRX and I held all my shares, and as much I was very, very confident with KMPH, I did all my shares. I'm very confident with this. The nephrology community, I also talked to nephrologists. I think there's a huge need for this drug. It's an IBS drug, so it does not work like the regular phosphate binders work. So it's just how it metabolizes in the stomach with the food, and that's why it binds to the phosphate. It's a different mechanism of action, but the big advantage here is the less pill burdens, like I was telling you guys before. A lot less pills, like a third of the amount of pills. And the only downside I see there's because it's an IBS drug, there's an increase 30% in diarrhea. So, but you still capture 70% of the market, right? So I see nephrologists using this drug as a first line. And if the patient doesn't tolerate, they will actually do a phosphate binder, if that makes sense for you guys. So I talk, and then so everybody
we have a comment that says, when is PDUFA again for?
So PDUFA is July 29th. But here's the deal, guys. The PDUFA was set for April 29th. And the FDA had requested some more information on labeling, and they submitted their information, right? So they did another NDA, and for some reason, FDA is pretty busy with with COVID, that, approving all these COVID drugs and vaccines. So they didn't have time to review it. So they extended to July 29th. And that's why we saw that drop in the end of April. So for me, it approaches as a good opportunity to buy. It's still in May. We still have time. Right? I mean, the market's going to get red again, but I would start doing your cost average accumulation. I'll start buying some, if your plan is to have 1,000 shares, I'll start with the 200, and it just accumulate so you can have a nice cost average. So that would be it. Anybody has any questions? So
yeah, I mean, we have quite a few tickers in the chat. Let me go to the top so I can try and get this a little bit in order.
I see here. Okay.
ILUS, is that one you know?
Come on, guys. I just bought it today. It's a penny stock. Yeah, but it's not bio. But I'm very bullish on this company. A friend of mine shared all the DD with me. If you guys want it, it's on my page. So I don't think it's worth it for me to talk about it.
Go to Vivi's Twitter.
Yeah, go to my Twitter. Yeah, so then people are asking, okay, I'll check some DD here. I'm just looking here and see. Okay, so ETON. ETON has 2 PDUFAs coming up. The reason that I'm not very bullish with the ETON, right, is because they sold the two drugs are coming up as approval is already sold to someone else. So how much upside that we're gonna see here? I mean, if you guys have a case to tell me, I mean, send me a message on Twitter, but it didn't spark my interest because I went into the website and did some research, and they sold 2 of those products are getting approved. So the revenues are not coming to them, right? That's why I didn't buy. So, okay, what kind of sales can we expect from Asteris? So Asteris, we're talking about Vyvanse was a $3 billion drug, right? We are addressing here with Asteras, we're addressing a very short, this is KMPH, I'm sorry, yeah. We're addressing a huge market. We're addressing a drug that's going to work faster and that's going to last longer, that's going to have less side effects, less insomnia, less appetite. So if we do a successful launch, I can see us grabbing, $1 billion market for this drug in sales, and if we do that, that is 25% of that would be 250 million at the pockets of KMPH. And with the thing about KMPH that it really gets me excited is that they have no overhead, right? They just collect the paycheck, the money that from those sales, and that's it. And they have a good pipeline going on. So I can really see these companies being acquired even by Korean. Maybe Korean is just waiting it out to see how well they're going to do in sales, but I don't think they would have wanted to let this company go with the Alzheimer's medications that they're going to have, and also the medication for substance abuse. So that's my case for KMPH. The float is really it's relative small. So I can see this reaching, good ER, this can reach $30 a share easy. So I'm definitely hold this one long. And I wanted to talking about low float, can you put a BPRA there?
Absolutely.
So, okay, so.
BPRA?
BRPA then, let me see. It's up 125% today. So let me.
Big Rock Partners?
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah, so was up $125. So talking about low floats, right? I completely regret selling this one because I had a warrant. I had 4,000 warrants, but it was a lot of risk, right? Because they're waiting for the approval of the drug RLTF, and the drug wasn't it wasn't like wow, and they're like reporting a second data. So I was a little hesitant, but for like, if I have to give you guys an advice, if you don't believe, or if you don't want to take that much of a risk and you're already up a lot, I should have just taken my investment out and left it and let it ride, because then my risk is gone, right? So if I had about 4,000 warrants for $5, and my cost was 20, and then all of a sudden it goes to 15, and I have a 60 grand, I should at least have pulled my, my niche investment out and let those other shares ride float, right? So that's another important thing, is I always look at what the float of the company is, so that it can bounce really, really fast. So talking about float, let's put NSPR on, and that's the reason I haven't sold. So NSPR, the CEO came, told us that we are like 2.5 years away, and I'm like, wow. But it's been holding well, because I think everybody's kind of waiting to, the next, news of initiation of a trial. We're waiting on news of a NASDAQ. Also, we're waiting on news of uplisting on NASDAQ. So, guys, this have a 7 million float. So this can go from 5 to 25 in a day. Even more. So that's why I'm still holding. I feel like all we need is it's a huge volume, with some good news, and we can outbank. Even though a lot of us, $17 a share after the stupid split, but you'd be surprised, if you have volume coming, we really make bank and SPR. So I haven't sold. That's why I will hold, because it's a low float. So that would be my other lesson to you guys. Like, if you have a low float stock, just hold, because eventually we'll come right back, because of the float is so small. So what else here? Okay, surf. Okay, BCRX is down today. What do you guys expect? Everything is gonna go up every single day, up. It's still like it holds. BCRX is holding really, really well. I see this as a huge opportunity to add. I told you guys, this is going to be the first stock I'm talking about on my channel. that I'm working on, and I'm going to talk to you guys why I believe this will be at $100 stock in 5 years. So even at this price, even though you guys, if you're bitter that I alert to you guys at a 5 and you guys didn't like buy it when I told you guys the first show I had here, there's still a huge upside. So this is a multi-bagger in the making, and I'm a true believer this company is going to be huge. So another reason to add it to your average. So every time I make money in a stock, I've been putting towards BioChrist because I never been so confident about a company. So I will cover that on my channel. And so what else? Yeah, we talk about Alexander. We talk about Infinity. The Infinity looks like a huge potential INFI, but there's not a lot of catalysts coming, So this is kind of a dead money for a while. That is why with the biotech, these companies are going to have to continue to dilute and to raise capital for research. So unless you're trading in, into the catalyst, I don't know what the next catalyst is. It's not a company I would invest today because you're just going to bleed money, So, okay, so we have a BTX. Let's see, are we hitting a lot of BTX is the same person. No, Ramon wants BTX. I almost certain BTX. I almost certain that I looked into that company before you guys, but I'll take a look right here as we speak. So let me see. Did you put BTX on? Okay.
Yep, charts up.
Okay. What is the price?
It's at 1680.
Okay, so good. It's not like an OTC. Okay, so they're also working with cytokines, for I would say for COVID, because that's how they treat COVID with the cytokine storm. So let me see here. Okay. Another thing, guys, I hate companies that don't put the graph on the pipeline. So, okay. So we have, head and neck cancer that is only on phase 1. So, okay. And then we have just one drug. This is just like a one pony? Okay, no.
There's someone in the comments.
No, I see. It's a monotherapy. Okay, we have a lot of catalysts coming in 2022. So they have a combination study with the Keytruda, which I love all the partnership, but like I said, how long that's gonna take in terms of catalysts and approvals. So
we got lots of people in the comments saying that it's a pump and dump, which
is it?
The graph does make it look like that.
What is the short? What is the float on this company too? Let me see. Maybe that's why people are just playing with the float.
Oh, let me check. It's not on BZ Pro.
Now, if you canvas, let me just check, you guys. Let me see the float of this.
But it pumped from like April 20th to, so in a 1 month span, it went from up to 80, from 4 to 80 and back down to 16. So
I almost certain that this is a huge, tiny little float. So let me see. Okay, doesn't even show. I only have a 1.48. Yeah, it says shares outstanding 1.48, doesn't even show the float. So this is like a micro float. Yes. So what's going to happen is it looks promising by looking at the pipeline, but there's nothing near term. So people are doing, right? When you have a micro float, you just trade when there's volume, So
yeah, looks like a Discord pump.
Yeah, so this is definitely a pump, but that doesn't mean that this company doesn't have a potential, It's something that you want to put on your watch list, but there's nothing coming up sooner. And the float, there's a lot of manipulation when you have a small float, So
probably would stay away from it right now, at least while
exactly. And here's the problem, you guys. If you're a novice trader and you follow these huge groups, and before you enter a trade, I would definitely suggest you look at what the float is, because when I was a newer investor, I used to be in the stock twits and listening to people, and I bought a huge amount of this company, ANY, and it was a tiny little float, and I didn't understand too much about float, and I bought it, and I completely got, it never came back, and I completely got stuck with the bag. And the guy kind of disappeared from stock twits because people were like really, really mad at him, and he was such a pumper. So before you follow anyone, guys, look at the fundamentals, look at the flow. I mean, the time you need to have experience. You need to be looking at a level 2. You need to be looking at a chart, being a chart before you enter a trade. I do low floats, but I'm like, my eyes are in my chart, looking to see, at one point, when do I need to get out? So that's my advice for you guys. Don't get on it if the float is too small and there's no fundamental. There's no, there's you don't see anything like down the line. So that would be my suggestions for you guys. I lost a lot of money because I follow people on low floats. So that'll be my suggestion. And so what else do we have there? So BTX is definitely a pumping up for sure. For sure.
CTXR, we talked about that last episode.
Yeah, not a pump at all. Okay. These is a lot of Abus, okay, infringed the patent, I'm long. Okay, I will have to take a look. Let me take, I never can see the comments once I close the channel, so let me just take a photo here, you guys. And I promise you for the next show, I will have some answers. So let me just, and what did we talk about the CTRX? Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly what we covered, but I know we talked about CTXR in the last episode.
Okay, let me see here. I'll take another look just in case. So,
and a couple people asking about ASXC.
AXXC. So maybe for the next shows.
ASXC, yes.
So CTRX is it CTRX? It's Catamaran Corporation. No.
CTXR, Citius Pharmaceuticals.
CTXR. I'll tell you guys, just by looking at the stock, I can tell you exactly what is going on here. Just a second, it'll be fast. Okay. It's Citius Pharmaceutical, right? And they don't even give me a it's kind of messed up. They don't even give me a company's name on here. Just a second, you guys. Okay, so Sirius Pharma. Okay, that was the one that it was really hard because it's really hard to read the pipeline. There's not a timeline on a pipeline.
Yeah, that's the one you were talking about last time.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah. By the way, I mean, awful website design. But they have phase 3 clinical trials. It's still like a couple months away. So I would look at, what is the next catalyst? Are they going to do a readout midway in a study? What is institutional ownership here? Do we have a lot of the toots involved? And how much cash they have left? So that would be my concern. If it's a couple of years out for phase 3, do they have the money to continue the study? So that would be my next question to you guys. And if you guys can produce those answers and message me on Twitter, please do. I would love to check it out. But that's the worst website I ever seen in my whole life. It's bad. If the website is trying to judge the future of a company by its website, is really, really bad. It's not showing like the graph, like phase 1, 2, 3. You don't even know. It's a bad website. But message me. I would love to hear your guys' approach on this company. So it's only $2.20. So yeah.
Saad in the comments, we did already talk about Kala. It's the first one we talked about. So just scroll to the start of the show.
Yes, Harish, we did. Kala is definitely a buy down here.
Vivi, what are your thoughts on SCYX?
Okay, just a second. They're asking here, what browser are you using? I've been plenty of charts and graphs. I'm talking about the phase 3, not the graph, not charts. I'm talking about the phase 3 timeline. There's no phase 3 timeline here at all on this website. So yeah, I can't, I can't see. So I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not talking about like the chart of the company, duh. I'm talking about like the timeline of events on a pipeline. So a really bad design website. But if you have a data, or if you have a good DD that you can share with me, I would love to cover on the show next time. If I believe this has a potential, I'm looking for the multi-baggers, you guys. So if that has a potential, I'll definitely take a look. And
Awesome.
I think that would be for our show, right?
Sure. Yeah. No, we are right about that time, folks. We'll be back.
Yeah, I'll
next
be back
Tuesday.
on Tuesday. Yeah, I have a lunch with the girlfriend. Gotta bounce.
Vivi has things to do.
Yes, but I'll see you guys on Tuesday.
All right. See you, Vivi. It's been a great show. Everyone, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.